Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to talk about snakes, wooden crates, masks, both homemade and bought, blow-up props, a second cart build and what my progress on that, making trees, and then what in the heck does a water heater have to do with Halloween? Stay tuned and we'll check it out. So in this episode, you're going to get a little picture of how I do things. It's hard for me to stay focused on one thing. I'm jumping all over the place, but over the last month or so since my last video, been working on lots of different things. I'll spend one weekend kind of putz around with one thing, or maybe while paint's drying, I'll work on something else. So you're going to see me kind of jumping all over the place. So just run with me and we'll see what we get done. One of the things I'm focusing on is a lot of the projects I want to work on are bigger projects and I have to store them. I'm thinking about it like a 12-foot alligator, which I'll tell you more about later on. I need to build some facades. I'm trying to decide, do I build it out of wood or do I use some kind of fabric and then paint the fabric? So lots of things like that, but a lot of that has to be stored, and we got the whole summer coming up and I don't want my whole patio filled up with props that need to be stored. So right now I'm working on some of the smaller stuff, some of the ideas, some of the electronics and things like that. One thing I did do since the last video is I had a fog machine that was broken. I didn't video any of this, but turns out the little pump inside was broken. I ordered one off Amazon for like 15 bucks and then replaced it, and the thing works perfectly. Didn't videotape any of that, not very exciting content, but that's the kinds of things that I've been working on. So this year is swamp theme. I've already told you that. So as I'm thinking about the swamp theme and wanting to set the ambiance for what it's going to look like in the haunt, I start thinking about what are some of the critters that are going to be in a swamp theme. And of course there's spiders and there's monsters and things, but one thing that I think we can all agree on that's in all swamps is snakes. So I've been buying some rubber snakes and thinking about like how I might use those. Now these snakes aren't huge, but they could be useful. But I realized that like once you get in the dark, it's going to be hard to see these snakes. So I'm still debating on like, what do I do with these snakes? Do I put them in a jar with like the lids kind of coming off and they're sitting there peeping their head out, and maybe that's in the loading area, or maybe I have an aquarium full of them and then I could have some kind of motion there to make it look like there's snakes moving around. And like I said, you want to create tension, so maybe I leave the lid off and one snake is starting to get out, and as they're loading into the cart, they're seeing that, and you know, so I don't know. Still thinking about that. If you have ideas, put it in the comments. Would love to hear any ideas for that. So one of the things that you're going to hear me say a lot during this episode is I'm going to refer out to Stiltbeast Studios, and I can't say enough about the work that Alan Hops does and the things that he comes up with that are cheap, easy to do on your own, and it's just like a starting point for ideas. So one of those examples is he did a great tutorial on how to do a snake, and so I've been following that. Here's the snake I've built, and I started painting it a certain way. I did it different than what he suggested, and in the long run I didn't like it, so I'm going to actually go back to what he suggested, how to do the scales and the skin on the snake, and kind of follow that. Basically you cut up a loofah and then you pull it and put it the length of the snake, and then you clamp it and then you paint it, and the loofah marks actually make it look like scales on the snake. So really cool idea. Anything that I refer to that's Stiltbeast Studios, I don't want to redo what he's already showed you and show you how I make this. Instead, I'd rather just point to his videos and give you the inspiration. So go check it out. This snake has a metal piece inside of it that I can bend into any shape, but I want to get it painted before I do that. So once I bend the snake and get it all painted, then I can use this in different ways in the haunt. And that's a pretty big snake. That one I could use in some other place, like hanging down, you know, hanging out of a tree or something like that. Might even try to figure out a way to make one even bigger, something I've been thinking about. So just some ideas that I have going forward with the haunt. So another thing that can be great for setting the ambiance for my haunt is crates or wooden crates. Make it look like, you know, maybe like a storeroom or a warehouse or something. So that's what these are. And the beauty of these is that all these are is basically a Home Depot box that's been painted to look like a wooden crate. So very simple, very quick to do. Again, a great Alan Hops videos from Stiltbeast Studios. He explains how to do it. One variation that I have from Alan that he doesn't do in his videos, but it's important for me, is I need to be able to store this box or this crate in the off season, and storing it like this just takes up too much space. So you'll notice there's these little finger holes. What I've done is, on the whole box, I put command strips, the Velcro command strips. And so with these Velcro command strips, I can put it together. When the time's done, I can pull it apart like this, pop off the bottom, and now this whole thing will fold flat in my shed, under the bed, wherever you want to put it. So super helpful. Again, thinking about storage space, I could store probably 20 of these if I needed to easily, and it would probably only be about that thick. So great idea and would be awesome. I think in a previous video I shared with you that I would be building a second cart, and I was going to do that in February and get it done, but then we're back to the same thing. I need a place to store it, and I do have room in my shed for it. But because I want to work on something more creative and exciting, I've kind of put that off. I will probably build the actual cart and put it together this coming summer. But in the meantime, I'm ordering a lot of the parts. So skateboard wheels, right? This is what rides on the track, and so I have a whole box here of parts that I purchased off Amazon, basically copying the same build from the previous cart. Bearings, washers, part of the cart works on Lazy Susans. That's how it goes around the corner, so I ordered the Lazy Susan parts. The next step would then be to buy the board that needs to go on the bottom, getting all this stuff mounted and the mechanisms in place, and then once all that's done, I'll finish building the rest of the cart with the foam, getting it painted, building the bench and all those pieces. But again, that will take me maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do. That's how long it took me to do the last one. So I'll probably do that more into the summer when I'm got some time and I don't need to worry about storage as much, because we'll be getting closer to Halloween. So stay with me and we'll watch that cart build with each episode as we go along. So something else that I've been playing around with, and again this is from Stiltbeast Studios, is creating my own masks or busts using spray foam. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this is a plaster bust, and the idea is that you take spray foam and you surround it and you can create the shape, and then you can start molding it the way you want. So here's an example of a mask that I've created using the spray foam, and you can put your head in it. It fits. It's a little bit rough. You'll notice on this one I'm getting ready to do another one. This has a painter's sock on it to make it a little softer inside the mask so that it doesn't chafe on you. But comes out pretty cool, not that hard to do. All of this texture and everything on here is spray foam, and then I just used acrylic paint to ultimately make it into what you see here. And so this could be a mask, or it could also be a bust that was used either just sitting there in your haunt somewhere, or the other thing is I want to revamp some of my existing props. So maybe I create a mask or a face or even fake arms or whatever using the spray foam, because there's some really cool stuff you can do with the spray foam. You can mold it and do that, and it's just cool. This little bust is super helpful. It's made out of plaster. It's on a spinning thing so that you can spin it while you work on it. Again, this is all Stiltbeast Studios stuff. He has an excellent video on not only how to build this bust, but he's done probably 5 or 6 or 7, at least, maybe more, different masks that he's done with spray foam, both masks and busts. So check it out. Very cool stuff, and stuff that I'm going to use in my haunt. So when it comes to masks, I don't just do the spray foam ones that I showed you. I also purchase masks, so I kind of keep an eye on Amazon, Temu, and some of those. And when I come across a mask that kind of fits in with the theme for this year, then I'll purchase them. I don't go crazy. I don't like the $40, $50, $60 mask, because I don't really want to spend that much on a mask. I would rather take the cheaper ones, and then if I have to paint them a little more, do some highlights and make them look cool, I can do that. So 2 of the masks that I just got for this year, both kind of somewhat haunt related, that could be used as some kind of creepy monster that you might see in the haunt, is this one. This is a pretty common mask that you see. You know, this is one online. It pops up on Amazon, whatever. I think I got this for like 12 bucks or something like that. And then one other mask, and I think this one is pretty cool because it's very much kind of like something you would find, you know, like a swamp monster or something out in the swamp. But this one I also found too, and again, this one was like $15. It's a little more blue than what I want. I might try to use some touch-up paint and maybe some paints, some latex paint, and make it a little more green so it looks more swamp monstery. But man, you put this with the right costume and some, you know, moss hanging off of it, and this would be excellent for an actor to wear in the haunt this year. So very cool stuff. Keeping my eye out for other ones that will be good, and I recommend you do the same. They're cheap and it's a good way to go, and I can repurpose these for something else later on. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I went in the house just to get a drink, and I came out, and you are not going to believe this. Check this out. I was setting up my set, and I just walked out. I almost ran into this, but out here by the boxes, the crates that I was showing you, check this out. You got to see this. Holy smokes, look at that guy. He looks dangerous. He's mad. He's got his mouth open like he's going to bite me. Man, that's pretty cool. Okay, clearly not a real alligator, but I got that alligator for $18. It's a simple blow-up doll. I was hoping it would be a little bit bigger, but this is still pretty cool. Looks pretty authentic, even though it's blow-up. And the beauty of it is that in the dark, with the right lighting, you could just set that in under fog or whatever, and that will look very, very realistic. I'm looking for some bigger ones and some other ideas, but I'll show you those once I do them. Oh man, so just sitting here under a tree, shooting my Halloween video. How cool is that? Beautiful day. But it's fake. Not a real tree. This is cardboard. Again, this is another one of the Stiltbeast Studios things. The only difference is his core is made out of foam. I get tons of Amazon boxes, and so I just use cardboard to make the shape, use some spray foam for the feet or for the roots, and then painted it. And this isn't as tall as I would like. I would like it to be probably a little bit taller, but I will be making more, and so those will be actually taller, and then we can have some branches coming out off of them, hang some moss off of it, and then when I put those on each side of kind of where the cart goes, it'll give it a really cool kind of effect for a swamp. So cool stuff, all fake, but man, I love it. So what the heck does a water heater have to do with Halloween? Well, here's the deal. Our water heater broke. This is a couple weeks ago. Had to completely replace it. When I went to pull out the new water heater, I saw this box and I said, hey, this can become trees. So the goal is I will take this box, probably use half of it for one tree, half of it for another one, put some roots on it, paint it. I will be adding some more cardboard to probably make it another 2 feet tall or so. But the idea is that this is just more trees that will be throughout the haunt with moss hanging over it, making our swamp look cool. The water heater itself has nothing to do with the haunt, but this is a free box that I can use to make trees. And that's what it's all about. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Can't wait till next time to show you some of the future updates I'll be working on. My birthday's coming up. I'm getting myself an airbrush kit for my birthday, and how will I be using that? You'll have to tune into the next episode to find out. See you next time.